Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today we're going to be taking a cheeky look at Cardano and the ADA token. We've got some price thoughts, some areas of resistance and support to kind of go through the charts and the technical analysis on the ADA token and where it might end up going in the future, Chris. I think this is going to be an incredibly powerful video that's going to hopefully show you guys just some of the short-term potential that is involved here with ADA and the Cardano blockchain. So guys, if you find this video useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really appreciates it. And as always, if you're new to the channel, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Chris, is there anything you want to add at this point before jumping straight over to the desktop and having a look at what's going on with Cardano?
No, let's get straight into it, Nick. I love this project.
Fantastic, right. So here it is in question, right? So Cardano ADA shoots to highest weekly close since 2018. So an incredibly bullish movement. So this came out today, so let's take a look, right? So the Cardano price is in the process of reaching a weekly closing above a long-term resistance level at 16.6, right? So I have the Cardano chart here, and we'll get into this in a little bit more detail soon as well. So they're talking about the, I think it was the weekly, didn't they? Let me just check to make sure I was definitely, yeah, weekly close. So they want to be closing above it, and currently we are above that zone. So really interested to see how that plays out on the weekly chart there. So let's go ahead and get into this, right? So the weekly resistance level, the long-term resistance is 16.6 cents, something that's not been done since May 2018. So a weekly close above this level would be extremely bullish for the development, bullish development, right? So indicating that Cardano is likely to move higher towards 21 to 26 cents, right? And I'm going to show you some fib extension levels as well that show it much higher. So let's see what's going on, right? So reach 17 cents, all that kind of good stuff there. We're going to go through. Then they're talking about 21 cents as an area of resistance, 26 cents as an area of resistance, and these represent the 50% and 61.8% fib retrace levels. So really interested to get into that in a moment as well. Technical indicators are leaning on being bullish despite the bearish divergence in the RSI. Now, RSI alone is not a very good indicator. You have to use it in conjunction with others. I have on our chart here two modified indicators, a modified RSI that only looks at it on the 50 level, and a stochastic here that actually takes the original measurements of the RSI but puts them into this zone, and that's the 30 and the 70 levels, right? Probably don't even need to know that, but they're important for two reasons. One, the RSI is not doing what an RSI should normally do on our charts here. Instead, this is showing you the buying patterns. In theory, this line chart that you see here actually mimics the movements of the candles. Whereas our stochastic at the bottom here shows you what's happening from a buying point of view and shows us that actually there's potentially too much buying going on with ADA in this zone. And if it's down at the bottom here, it would be indicating that it's actually being oversold, right? So if we looked at our XRP, for example, right now, this would be all the way down at the bottom here, oversold, right? But at the moment, it's overbought for ADA, and it looks like that's going to continue a bit longer. So let's get into what's going on. So RSI, not a good indicator if you're looking at it in isolation, but the stochastic, that's the word I keep saying wrong, is the other one that I have modified as well. So you have to look at those two things together, which give you a good idea. So the future movement of ADA has finally been successful in moving above the 17.2 cents resistance area, something which has been struggling to do since November 22. So the movement since the breakout resembles a retest of validating the area as support, and you can see that in their chart here. And I can get into that. I mean, what are they looking at? They're looking at the daily, so I could get into that on the daily as well, so to show you what that looks like. I'll just make sure I make a note of that going forward. Right, so let's get back into this and see what else they're talking about here. So obviously retesting that area, a positive thing that you have to do. And the 2-hour chart for Cardano and ADA is following an ascending support line, and they've drawn that through here in a relatively, it's an okay way. They're crossed wicks, but otherwise it's still a pretty good trend forming there on the 2-hour chart as well. So basically, when you start crossing the weekly, the daily, and the hourly, or 2-hourly in this case, it's looking like an incredibly bullish scenario for ADA moving forward. So then they go into the wave count here, so the ADA wave count, and here they can say that rates towards a 40 or 60 cents potentially, right, for ADA. And this is really in line with my longer term prospects for ADA in 2021, when I'm talking about somewhere between $5 and $10 potentially by the end of the year. So really interested to see how the next 12 months really fold out. And this is actually supporting my thoughts on that as well. So this is they're talking about it's going to be accelerated towards 40 cents and potentially even up to 60 cents, right? So the wave count shows ADA is likely in what appears to be the extended third cycle wave, shown in white above, right? So up there. While the wave count is given in black, okay, so it's likely target at the top of wave 3 is found at 29 cents, which would give it the 1 to 3 waves, a ratio of 1 to 1 to 61 ratio common bullish impulses, right? So really, really good. So looking, the most likely scenario is that ADA and ADA is in wave 1 of an extended cycle wave 3. So up here, right? So really interested to see how that plays out. So the sub-wave count for wave 1 is given in orange, right? So they've got all these sub-waves in there as well. So this is a kind of very stereotypical way of trading if you're into Elliott wave theory and all that kind of stuff. You'd have your bigger macro picture view, and then you'd have these minor movements happening inside. So the conclusion here is that it's going to be heading upwards towards 21 to 26 cents, right? So let's hop into our chart and see what is going on. So here we can see on the daily, if I just make these candles a little bit bigger for you guys, this is the area that we're talking about getting through, right? So the 17.1 cent level here, this blue line, this faint blue line, is an area that wants to be retested at some point. And yeah, we're going to have to come down and test it in the near future, I would have thought. That, or we're going to just come back up again and skip the 17.1 and test on the 18.18, right? So 18.1 cent level. It's a little line just in here, which is actually just above our all-time high. Sorry, all-time high, but the high on our fib retrace level. Now I'm going to go ahead and just zoom out for you guys and get a bit of a bigger picture on this daily, right? So we have, and I think I've spoken about this a few times, our fib retracement levels here on the low of the 15th of November and the high of the 24th of November. And that's showing us several different things. I've drawn on loads of areas of resistance that might potentially become barriers of entry as we move up into new price brackets. And these come in the form of monthly candles or weekly candles in the history of Cardano and ADA. But if we just condense those down for a moment, we can see these fib extension levels. And I also have this 39 red line, which is an area I've been targeting as per the history. Okay, so we have our 61.8 fib retrace level here. That comes in at 23 cents. Then we move on to the 61.8 up here, right? It's 2.618, and that gives us a 31 cent level. So when that article that was written was talking about 21 to 26 cents, they are firmly in this red zone, if you will. So we're talking about being in, let me just get my pencil here. So this zone right here, right? So we're at that level there's 26 cents. And if I just scroll down a little bit lower, what I do is I'll paste in and just draw that 21 cent level, right? So they're talking about this zone, right? Which is fine. You know, it doesn't necessarily support anything that I'm looking at on here, because I'm seeing resistances at 20 and 22. Not necessarily at 21, and I see 23.9, not necessarily 26. But that being said, you know, they might be looking, they're looking at Elliott wave and things like that I'm not specifically looking for on our chart here. But nonetheless, everything is still looking incredibly bullish. I'll go ahead and paste on here the upward trend line that they're talking about. So you can see that that is definitely what is going on. And that's looking incredibly positive as well. So again, I could flick this into our 2-hour chart so we can see what's going on from that perspective. And we can really see just how good this thing is starting to look. But going forward, I think, you know, we are going to be in this area here. My next personal target is to try to get to that 22 cent level. And I think we're going to do that relatively soon as well. And once we get into those zones, we're going to be really kicking off, heading towards 23 cents, which is the first fib extension level on our chart here. And from there, I think we're going to start seeing significant movements upwards. And the timing on this, Chris, I think is going to be quite key as well. As we start to move through 2021, the whole entire crypto space is starting to really heat up with a looming bull cycle as well. So we're going to start seeing, I think, some significant movements in price for many different reasons. And Cardano is definitely going to be poised to take a lot of new retail and lots of FOMO coming in around their smart contract platform and everything else that's going to be happening in quarter 1 of 2021. So I'm really bullish on ADA, and I think you are too, Chris.
Yeah, I've been bugging Charles, see if we can get him on the show, to be honest with you, Nick. I love this project, and I know a lot of people would like to see him on the channel, so I've been reaching out loads. Not heard nothing back yet.
You never know. I did catch up with old Charles on his AMA that he did the other day, and he was talking about a couple of YouTubers that he has already done interviews with. That's 𝗕𝗘𝗀𝗀𝗧, I think, etc. And someone asked him the question of what's your relationship with these particular YouTubers, and he says, yeah, they call me up, I go on their show, they ask me questions, and I go. It's really chilled out about it, but I'd love to get him on the show, and I'm sure we'd have a whole host of questions that we could fire his way.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, hopefully you found this useful and informative. Everything is looking pretty sweet for Cardano blockchain and all the developments that are happening going on there as well. And ADA's price discovery, I think is going to be absolutely fantastic in 2021. Everything on the technical side is definitely gearing up to be pretty positive in 2021. So guys, if you found this useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really does appreciate it, as do I. And if you're new to the channel, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.